discussion going right now. Joining me is California Congressman Jimmy Gomez. He's a member of the Intelligence and Ways and Means Committee. Congressman, thank you for joining us. President Trump has repeatedly framed the violence in Nigeria as Muslims killing Christians, even as Nigerian officials have warned that narrative is wrong and also dangerous. So from your perspective, what are the risks in framing the situation that way?
Well, if you really look at the not only the news reports, but even the statement from the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, this is not targeted just at Christians. These terrorist organizations are targeting anybody that stands in their way, both Muslims and Christians. So that is where we should really focus, that this is a terrorism that's impacting the entire country. And when you just focus that it's based on Christians, then you're really misleading the American public about what this is about, what options are on the table, how we can deal with it. And it also does nothing to build public support for broader, I would say, just counterterrorism efforts in that region, especially in Nigeria. So I'm glad that they're in coordination with the Nigerian government, but framing it as a Muslim versus Christian thing is extremely dangerous. It only plays into this underlying concerns that we only care about Christians or white people or just different parts of the globe that we think are more like us. So we have to kind of push away those narratives because I think they're extremely dangerous.
I want to ask you about this. Some international security experts say the part of northwest Nigeria where the strikes took place is primarily run by violence from bandits, and reports say it's unclear whether a distinct Islamic State cell exists there. So how confident are you that this attack was actually based on solid, verified intelligence?
Well, one of the things that we need to do is dig in a little deeper. We want the administration to come to Congress to present the evidence that they have. One of our concerns is that they produce narratives that are not supported by the facts. And then when somebody in the intelligence community or in the defense community presents facts that go counter to that, they get fired. So we want them to come before Congress to present the facts of why they were actually, this region were targeted, who was actually doing the atrocities in this part of Nigeria. And then we want to make sure that that they are following international law. So we want them to come before Congress and to explain themselves, because a lot of the times they don't present, they're not very transparent. And then when they come to Congress, they don't give us a lot of information.
And of course, if that does happen, we will have you covered on that. Back here at home, though, you actually made some news this week. A federal court this week temporarily restored Congress's ability to conduct oversight of federal immigration detention sites after you and 11 other lawmakers sued the Trump administration. So how big of a win is this for all of you?
Oh, this is a big win. It's a step towards accountability when it comes to this administration, especially when on the home front. They're using CBP and ICE as their own national police force. They're sending them all over the country to justify a narrative that this country is under siege by undocumented immigrants. So our request was to and our ability to get into these facilities is part of our job. It's actually in law that says that we should be able to conduct spot inspections without notification to any facility that is housing non-U.S. citizens. So they blocked us. They made up excuses why we couldn't come in, and then we had to sue. So we were actually able to go in for the first time in 9 months, actually, since the beginning of the Trump administration. First time we've been able to go in on a just a drop-in notice. And I didn't have any pushback, was able to get right in, and my colleagues from across the country were able to do the same thing. So we were able to see what the conditions are actually at that particular moment, not a sanitized version that they want us to see.
And when you went into that facility, I mean, just from your perspective of how things were on the ground, what did you see? What did it feel like in that environment?
Well, let me give you a comparison. One time I got to visit with 2 weeks notice with other members of Congress. There was one person being detained in the downtown facility when it can hold up to 240. One person. And it was spotless. It was clean. It smelled clean. This time I went in, there was about 120 individuals in the facility that can hold up to 240. It's definitely a different experience when you see that there's people inside. There is no medical personnel because it's only supposed to house people up to 12 hours. There is no kitchen. There is nothing for a longer sustained period of time. So when I went in, I got to see the fact that one, people are still being kept there longer than almost up to 72 hours without medical personnel, eating chips, cookies, frozen burritos, and bottles of water. So it's not a horrendous condition, but one of the things it allows us to do is go and check in to see what's going on. And here's the thing: they shouldn't be there longer than 12 hours. Period. And there's still violations of that standard in law. So we want to keep pushing back. But during the height of the raids, it was at capacity, more than capacity, and they wouldn't let us in because they know if we went in and we saw what they were doing, we would have been able to raise hell about it. But so that's why they never wanted us to go in.
And let me just ask you a quick follow-up to that. Do you now plan on going back maybe every few weeks and every couple of months just to see how conditions are in that facility?
Absolutely. We all planned on going in at different moments, so we keep them off guard to go and check out what's going on in those facilities. That is our job, to make sure that they're living up to the standard under the law. But we also plan on going to other facilities that are long-term facilities that detain migrants. There's one new facility called California City that I want to go visit, and I'm going to plan on dropping in on that one unexpectedly to see what really is going on the ground in those different types of facilities as well.
Well, please, Congressman, keep us posted on anything you see and find as you make those visits. While I have you, I want to talk about the economy a little bit. President Trump has called affordability a hoax on multiple occasions, as we've heard, and today put out a post saying tariffs are creating great wealth and no inflation. But for many voters, as we know, money problems and concerns about how expensive it is to live aren't going away in 2026. So what do you say to your own constituents who hear the White House claiming victory on affordability while they see high prices literally everywhere?
My constituents know that this White House is completely lying about the affordability crisis. It has been more acute here in Los Angeles for a number of years. So we felt it last year. It's something that I talked about in 2024, but we see it at the grocery stores. I go shopping every week with my wife and my son, and we saw the prices go up, up, and up. Those were real, and people would come up, say, thank you for fighting to try to make sure that these prices go down, because people are struggling when it comes to grocery prices, when it comes to housing costs, when it comes to healthcare, especially since the Trump administration is ending the ACA enhanced subsidies. So when they say that it's not the economy is doing great, the question is, who is it doing great for? And when it comes to Republicans and Trump, it's for the billionaires and the largest corporations in this country. That's who it's doing great for.
All right, Congressman Jimmy Gomez, thank you for your time today.